The war had ended, but the planet still looked broken. Burnt ships, fallen buildings, and dry red dust covered everything. The city of Varna 3 was silent now. The battle between humans and aliens had stopped, but the damage remained. Near an old, metal gate, a little alien girl walked barefoot. She was small, maybe 6 years old. Her skin was light violet, her eyes large and glowing green. Her hair was silver and messy, tangled from dust storms. She wore a loose cloth that barely covered her. She held a stuffed toy, one ear missing, its body torn. She didn't cry. She just walked, looking, searching. People in the refugee camp saw her. Some turned away, some whispered, "Another orphan." But no one stopped. She walked up to a human woman who sat near a food tent. The little girl's voice was soft. "Excuse me, where is my father?" The woman blinked, surprised. "Your father?" The girl nodded. "My mama told me to find him," she said. "He's human." The woman looked around, uncomfortable. "I don't know, little one. Maybe ask someone else." The girl didn't speak again. She just walked away. At the edge of the camp, near a broken transport, sat a man fixing a generator. He wore a brown jacket, thick gloves, and had short dark hair. His face was tired, covered in engine grease. His name was Logan Carter, a human mechanic working for the war cleanup team. He didn't look up when the girl came closer. He was too busy fixing the power coil. The little girl stood there for a moment, then asked quietly, "Sir, have you seen my father?" Logan glanced up. At first he thought she was just another lost alien child. "Your dad?" he asked, wiping sweat from his forehead. "No idea, kid." She stared at him. "My mama said, he's kind and brave." She said, "He's human, like you." Logan blinked. His tools stopped moving. "What's your name?" he asked. The girl looked down. "Rena." He looked around. No adults, no guardians. Just this tiny girl in the dust, holding a broken toy and asking for something she didn't fully understand. "You hungry?" he asked. She nodded. He handed her a protein bar from his bag. She sat beside him and ate quietly. Logan didn't know why, but something about her felt familiar. A few minutes later, a woman approached. She was alien too. Older, maybe in her 40s, with deep lines on her face and a tired look in her eyes. She stared at Rena, then looked at Logan. "You don't recognize her, do you?" the woman asked. Logan raised an eyebrow. "Should I?" The woman knelt beside the girl. "She's my niece," she said softly. "Her mother, your friend, was my sister." Logan's breath caught. Years ago, before the war, during the peace missions, he had helped a wounded alien woman on this same planet. He remembered her kindness, her pain, and a short time they shared before he left. "You mean," he started. The woman nodded. "She died last year. Before she passed, she told Rena one thing. Find your father, he's human. His name is Logan, he helped me once. He will help you again." Logan stood slowly. He looked at the child sitting on the ground. She wasn't afraid, she was waiting. Waiting for an answer. He didn't know what to say. He wasn't ready for this. He didn't even know if it was true. Maybe. It was a mistake, but Rena looked up at him and smiled just a little. "Are you my papa?" she asked. Logan's chest tightened. He didn't know. But for some reason, in that moment, he couldn't walk away. He knelt down and said softly, "I don't know, kid. Maybe. But until we find out, I'll help you. Okay?" Rena nodded. She reached out and held his hand. It was small, but warm. Behind them, the wind blew gently through the ruins. The war was over, but a new story was just beginning. One born from ashes. One born from hope. Logan sat on the edge of an old metal crate, staring at the stars through the cracked roof of the supply tent. Beside him, the little alien girl, Rena, slept with her head resting on his leg, holding her stuffed toy close. Her breathing was calm, but his thoughts were not. The woman who claimed to be Rena's aunt had gone back to the refugee shelter for the night, leaving Logan with a single message. She has no one else. You're the last piece she has left. Logan whispered to himself. This has to be a mistake. He wasn't a father. He didn't know how to raise a kid, especially not an alien child born during wartime. He had spent years fixing broken machines, not holding little hands or telling bedtime stories. Still, he didn't push Rena away. She had clung to him like he was already hers, and that scared him more than anything else. The next morning, Logan stood near the camp's medic tent. Arms crossed as the woman returned, he spoke first. I need answers, the woman nodded. I'll tell you what I know. They sat down on a flat stone outside the ruins. Years ago, she said, you saved my sister, Serena. A human patrol left her for dead. You carried her into our outpost and stayed for weeks while she healed. Logan remembered. He remembered Serena's eyes, calm, strong, full of light even in pain. We were close, he said quietly. But then command moved me off-world. The woman nodded. She never forgot you. After you left, she found out she was pregnant. But with the war rising, she couldn't tell anyone. Our people wouldn't accept a human father. So she hid. She kept the child's secret, even from me. Logan's throat tightened. And then she died? The woman nodded slowly. She made me promise to protect Rena. And one day, bring her to you. He looked away. You could have lied. I didn't. She could have lied. She didn't. He stayed silent. The woman stood. You don't have to believe me now, but look at her, really look at her. She came all this way just to find one person. You. Later that day, Logan watched Rena playing in the dirt beside his ship. She was building something, a shape, a symbol. He crouched beside her. What's that? He asked. She looked up and smiled. My family symbol. Mama said it means hope. Logan stared at the shape. It was a mix of lines, half alien, half human, just like her. That evening, Logan sat alone inside the ship. The lights were low. He stared at an old photo of his squad. Serena wasn't in it, but her memory was in every corner of his mind. His heart was heavy with something strange, something soft. Not duty, not guilt, something else. Connection. He pulled out a small medical kit, carefully opened a swab, and walked over to Rena's makeshift bed. She looked up, blinking sleepily. I need to do something, kid, he said gently. It won't hurt. She didn't flinch. She opened her mouth and let him swab her cheek. Is it science stuff? She asked. He nodded. To find out if I'm really your papa. She looked at him, eyes wide and steady. You don't have to. I already know. He paused. What if you're wrong? She shrugged. Then I'll still stay, because I feel safe with you. Logan turned away, wiping his eyes before she could see. He sent the DNA sample off through a secured comm link. The results would take a few days. Until then, they waited. The next morning, Logan found Rena fixing a broken sensor on the ship's landing gear. She was using a tool the wrong way, but with so much focus that it made him smile. You like ships? He asked. She nodded. I want to fly them someday. Maybe I'll teach you, he said before he realized it. She beamed. He tried to act casual, but inside, something new was growing. A bond he couldn't deny. He still didn't know if he was her father by blood, but he was starting to feel like her father in every other way, and that was beginning to scare him even more than the war ever had. The spaceport on Delva Station was loud, busy, and full of problems, just the kind of place Logan usually avoided, but his ship needed parts, and his food stores were running low. He had work to do. What he didn't expect was a tiny pair of feet following behind him wherever he went. Rena, stay close, he said without turning around. I am. Her little voice replied. She was right behind him, always just one step back, holding a small backpack filled with her things and the one-eared toy she never let go. Logan walked into a supply shop. He checked a list on his data pad. Wires, coolant, sealant foam. The shopkeeper, a large gray-skinned alien, glanced at Rena, then back at Logan. You bringing pets in now? The alien grunted. Logan's eyes sharpened. She's not a pet, the alien snorted. Whatever. Keep it from touching the tools. Before Logan could say anything, Rena stepped up. I'm not an it. I'm Rena. I'm learning about ships. Logan blinked. The alien blinked, then laughed nervously. Feisty little thing, huh? Logan just nodded. Takes after her dad. Rena smiled. They walked through the station, hand in hand now. Rena skipped beside him. People stared. Some whispered. Few pointed. A human with a war child? Poor thing, she'll never fit in. Isn't that his kid? Disgusting. Logan heard it all. He said nothing, but Rena looked up at him. Why do they look at me like that? Logan stopped walking. He knelt down. Because they're small inside, he said, and they're scared of anything different. Rena frowned. I don't want to be scary. You're not, he said. You're brave. At the dock mechanics bay, Logan negotiated prices for engine parts. Rena sat on an old toolbox watching everything closely. One of the other human engineers, a young man with a crew cut, walked over and nodded at her. She yours? Logan paused. I think so. The man raised an eyebrow. You think? Logan shrugged. We're waiting on a test, but yeah, she's mine. The man looked at the girl again. She doesn't look like you. Logan turned to him. And yet, she follows me like my shadow. The man didn't ask anything else. Later, in the ship's engine room, Rena picked up a wrench and crawled under a panel. Logan leaned in, amused. What are you doing down there? Fixing the rattle you complained about yesterday, she said, voice echoing. He crouched beside her. You even know what to look for? No, but you said learning takes time. He smiled. She reminded him of himself when he first started. Curious, stubborn, and always reaching into places he probably shouldn't. That evening, they sat together on the loading ramp, eating dried fruit and warm stew. Logan handed her a spoon. She held it in both hands. Today was fun, she said. Logan raised a brow. Even with the stairs? I don't care what they think, she said. As long as I'm with you. Logan didn't respond right away. Instead, he looked out at the stars. Then he whispered, Me too, kid. Just before bed, Rena walked into the control room where Logan was updating charts. She climbed into the chair next to him and placed something on the desk. A drawing, 3 stick figures, one tall with a wrench, one small with silver hair, and a glowing ship above them both. Words, written in wobbly letters, said, Me plus Papa together. Logan stared at the drawing for a long time, then picked it up, folded it gently, and placed it into the ship's dashboard window. Rena watched. Does that mean you like it? Logan ruffled her hair. It means it's going to fly with us every time we leave. In his heart, he still waited for the DNA results, but in his actions, he was already a father, and Rena already knew it. The ship drifted silently through space, moving toward the outer belt of the Tira system. Stars blinked like quiet watchers in the dark. Inside the control room, Logan sat alone. His hands were tight on the edge of the console. The DNA report had arrived. The message blinked in red on his datapad. Genetic match, 99.94% confirmed. Parental link established. He didn't move, didn't speak. He just stared at it. She was his. Really his. Not maybe. Not possibly. Not a war orphan or a stranger. His daughter. Rena was in the cargo bay, sitting cross-legged and trying to fix a broken circuit board with the help of a datapad tutorial. Her little tongue stuck out as she focused, brow furrowed. She had no idea that everything had just changed. Or maybe nothing had. Logan walked in slowly. He sat down across from her. "Hey," he said. She looked up, smiling. "The wires keep slipping. I think the green one is the power line." He didn't correct her. He just watched her for a second too long. She tilted her head. "Did I do something wrong?" He shook his head. "No, you did something very right." She smiled, then asked, "Did the science test come back?" He nodded. She waited. He didn't say anything for a long time, then finally whispered, "It says, you're mine." Rena didn't jump or shout. She just said softly, "I knew it." Logan's voice cracked a little. "How did you know?" She shrugged. "Because when I'm scared, you make me feel better. When I fall, you help me up. You always come back." She added quietly, "That's what fathers do. Right?" Logan looked away, wiping his eyes. "I didn't know how to be one," he said. "You're already doing it," she replied. Later that evening, Logan stood in front of the mirror in the small bathroom. He looked at himself and saw more than grease and tired eyes. He saw something he hadn't felt in years. Responsibility, but not the kind that crushes you, the kind that gives you a reason to wake up. He walked into Rena's room. She was asleep, curled up with her stuffed toy, her small hand resting on a drawing she'd been working on. A new one. This time it showed her flying a ship, with Logan sitting beside her in the co-pilot seat. Above them were stars, and below them, the word family. Logan stood there, for a long time watching her breathe. He didn't need the test anymore. But it helped. It made it real. The next morning, they visited a small outpost for fuel. A clerk asked, "Is she yours?" Logan didn't hesitate. "Yes." He didn't add "I think" or "maybe." Just yes. While walking through the vendor stalls, Rena stopped at a necklace made from starstone beads. "Pretty," she said. Logan bought it without a second thought. She put it on and looked at herself in a mirror. "It sparkles like Mama's eyes." Logan smiled. "And like yours." Back on the ship, Logan added Rena's name to the crew log. He updated her medical file, assigned her a small locker, created an ID tag, all the little things that made her official, all the little things that said, "You belong here." That night, Logan sat in the captain's chair and looked out into space. So many stars, so many routes. But for once, he didn't feel lost. He had a crew of one, and she was enough. The ship floated above a pale blue moon, quiet and calm. But inside Logan's heart, something didn't feel right. He had just finished fixing a damaged engine coil when a red message blinked on the screen. Notice: Bioscan alert. Registered hybrid child located. Subject: Rena. Status: flagged. He read it twice. His chest grew tight. Someone had found out. Logan locked the ship's controls and walked into the sleeping quarters. Rena was sitting on the floor, drawing a planet with purple trees and glowing birds. "Papa," she said brightly, "can we visit a place like this someday?" Logan sat beside her. He forced a smile. "We'll try." But in his mind, alarms were ringing. Later that day, while refueling at a small trade station, Logan noticed something strange. 2 armored strangers stood near the dock. They didn't look like travelers. They looked like enforcers. One of them wore a badge that marked him as part of an alien blood purity union, a radical group that believed hybrid children were errors. Logan's jaw tightened. He turned Rena around. "Change of plans, we're leaving." She looked confused but didn't argue. She trusted him. Back on the ship, Logan took the long way through the asteroid field, a quiet path few used anymore. He activated cloaking panels and scrambled his ID beacon. But his thoughts raced. Who flagged her? How many knew? How far would they go? The next day, while flying low through a nebula cloud, Logan received a private message, encrypted, anonymous. It read, "Turn over the girl, you'll be paid. No more running. You have 48 hours. He slammed, his fist on the console. Rena ran in, startled. "What's wrong?" Logan forced calm into his voice. "Nothing you need to worry about." But she could feel the change in the air. She always could. That night, Logan set up hidden cameras around the ship. He checked the locks on every door. He slept in a chair near Rena's room, a stun blaster in his lap. He hadn't felt this kind of fear since the war. Only this time, it wasn't for himself. In the morning, he found Rena sitting in the engine room, hugging her knees. "I heard your voice last night," she said. "You were talking to someone." Logan sighed. "They want to take you." Her eyes widened. "Why?" "Because you're different, and they're afraid of that." She was quiet for a long time, then she asked, "Will you give me to them?" The question cut deeper than any wound he'd ever had. He knelt down and took her hands. "I would rather burn this ship down with me inside than let them have you." Rena hugged him hard, burying her face in his shoulder. Later that day, Logan got help from an old friend, a smuggler named Kelso, who owed him a favor. Kelso provided a map to a hidden outpost in the outer belt, a safe haven for hybrid children and mixed families, but the route was risky. Old paths, no shields, pirate zones. Still, Logan made his decision. "We're going," he told Rena. She nodded. "I'm not afraid," he smiled. "You get that from your mother." As they prepared to leave, the radar beeped. 3 ships approaching, fast, unmarked. But Logan knew the type. "Hunters," he turned to Rena. "Put your headset on. Get to your chair, we're flying out of this." She jumped into her seat and buckled in. The moment her hands gripped the armrest, she wasn't a lost child anymore. She was crew, his daughter. The Wanderer's Hope launched into the clouds, engines roaring, blasters fired behind them. Logan twisted through debris fields, diving and weaving. Rena shouted directions, her eyes on the radar. "There's a gap at 3 o'clock. He followed her call. They made it through the field. The hunters were gone. For now. When the ship was finally calm again, Logan turned to her. "You did good." Rena grinned. "I learned from the best." Logan looked out into space, knowing this wasn't over. But he also knew one thing. He wasn't just running anymore, he was protecting his family, and he'd fight any sky, any army, any galaxy to keep her safe. The stars outside flickered like cold candles, silent, unbothered. But inside the Wanderer's Hope, Logan's heart pounded like a storm engine. He sat at the ship's console, staring at the message on screen. It had come from a diplomatic vessel, coded and cold. "If you surrender the hybrid child peacefully, we guarantee your protection. You will be granted clearance, supplies, and full freedom. This is your last chance." The message ended with a signature, Colonel Dren Valas, a man known for his smooth words and hidden knives. Logan leaned back. His knuckles were white. They were no longer hunting him like a criminal. Now they were offering him a way out. All he had to do was give up Rena. She sat quietly in the back of the engine bay, drawing again. She didn't ask questions anymore when he went silent. She knew something was wrong, and Logan hated that she had to carry that kind of silence. Hours passed. He didn't respond to the message, but it echoed in his head. "You'll be free." He thought about the fuel they'd burned, the stations they couldn't return to, the food running low. He thought about the fear in Rena's eyes every time a ship got too close. What kind of life was this for her? What kind of life could he offer? That night he didn't sleep. He walked into Rena's room, watched her sleep under a blanket stitched with patches she made herself, little stars, ships, and a stick figure she claimed was him with big arms. She was just a kid. She deserved more. A home, a school, friends. Could he give her that, or would she only suffer because of him? In the morning he made a decision. He didn't tell her. He just said they were docking at a neutral space station for supplies. He contacted the envoy ship and gave them a location. They said, "You've made the right decision." He didn't answer. At the station, he held her hand as they walked through the bazaar. She was humming a song she'd made up. He didn't speak much. He didn't smile. But she did, because she was with him. Later, he told her to wait in the ship's lounge, tilted her head. "You never leave me alone." "I won't be long," he said, but she felt it, something different in his voice. She let go of his hand slowly and sat down, watching the door close behind him. Logan walked to the far docking bay. The envoy ship was already there, sleek, silver, quiet. Inside waited Colonel Valas. Sharp eyes, calm tone. "Captain Logan, you've come to the right place." Logan didn't shake his hand. "You promised safety for her?" "Yes. A private care facility, education, no more running." Logan hesitated. He pulled out a data drive. "She likes to draw. That's her sketchbook. Take care of it." Valas nodded. "And you?" "I go where I always go. Alone." But before the deal could finish, a door slammed open. Rena stood there, out of breath, eyes wet. "Why?" she shouted. Logan froze. "Rena, you were going to leave me?" "No," he said. "I was going to save you." She walked up slowly. "You said you would never give me away." His voice cracked. "I lied." She looked at the colonel, then at Logan. Then she whispered, "I'd rather be in danger than be without you." Logan looked at her, this small child, this little voice in the chaos. And suddenly he saw it clearly. She didn't need a cage. She needed a father. Not one who gave up when things got hard, but one who stood. He turned to the colonel. "The deal's off." Valas narrowed his eyes. "You'll regret this." "No," Logan said. "The only thing I'd regret is losing her." He grabbed Rena's hand. They ran. Back on the ship, alarms blared. Security chased them. Logan launched early, fire spraying from the engines. Rena stayed in, the co-pilot seat gripping the nav screen. "We've got a narrow gap at Sector 9, she shouted. Logan smiled. "Let's fly." They escaped again. No promises, no safety. But they had something stronger now. Choice. That night, Logan gave her back the drawing he had kept on the dash. She smiled, and for the first time in days, she laughed. They were still hunted, still running, but for now, they were free, together. The Unity Chamber of Zereth Prime had never been so full. Leaders from 40 different species stood behind shining glass tables, watching every move. Above them, glowing drones recorded the session for the galactic networks. This was not just another debate. It was the vote that would decide the fate of all hybrid children, those born from human-alien unions during the war. And standing near the center, under the harsh white lights, was Rena, a little alien girl with silver hair, wide glowing eyes, and her hand tightly holding Captain Logan's. They had been given one chance to speak. No lawyers, no long speeches, just truth. Logan stepped forward. The silence in the chamber was heavy. He looked around. Most of the faces staring back at him were stone. A few curious, even fewer kind. He cleared his throat and began. "I didn't come here to start a fight," he said. "I came here to talk about a girl named Rena. She was born in the middle of a war none of you even tried to stop." He paused. "She is smart. She's kind. She fixed my ship's coolant system with a fork and a shoelace. She memorized hyperspace charts faster than any cadet I've ever met, and she draws stars better than I ever could." Some delegates chuckled softly. Most just watched. Logan continued. "She also happens to be my daughter." Murmurs rose through the chamber. Biologically, the science confirms it. Emotionally, I knew it the moment she looked up at me and asked if I'd seen her father. I didn't recognize her at first, but she recognized me. He turned to Rena and gave her a gentle nod. You ready? She hesitated, then let go of his hand and stepped forward. Alone. The chamber grew quieter. Her small voice echoed through the grand room, helped by the translator pinned to her shirt. My name is Rena Tari Logan. I am not a mistake. She looked around the room slowly. I am not a problem to fix. I am not something to be hidden. I am not dirty. I am not a reason to be ashamed. She took a breath. Her voice was shaking, but still rising. I'm a child. I love ships and stars. I love when my father makes burnt pancakes. I love bedtime stories. And I love being alive. She paused again, then said louder, and I love my papa. Her eyes looked toward Logan. He is my father, not because a test said so, but because he stayed. He fought for me. He didn't trade me away when they offered him a way out. She looked back at the chamber. I know some of you think I should be taken from him, put in a special place, hidden, but I won't hide, because I belong in this galaxy, just like you. Silence. For a long, powerful moment, no one spoke. Then came the voice of Ambassador Val Lorene, a tall reptilian elder who had lived through 5 intergalactic peace talks. He stood slowly. I once lost a son, he said. He died because no one spoke for him when others called him wrong. He looked at Rena. Thank you for speaking now. He turned to the room. If this child is what comes from peace, then we should all be so lucky. The vote came, 1. By 1, each species cast their token into the display urn. Green for yes, red for no. The final count, 28 green, 12 red. It had passed. Hybrid children were now protected by intergalactic law. Logan didn't cheer. He just knelt down and held Rena. You did it, kid, she whispered back. No, we did. The next day, hollow news across. The stars played the moment again and again. She called him father in front of everyone. A child's voice changes history. Captain Logan and Rena, the Starbond family. But they didn't stay to celebrate. They boarded their ship quietly. They had a new route to plan. As the stars stretched into lines outside the cockpit, Rena sat beside him, drawing again. This time, it wasn't just stars or ships. It was a crowd, with her in the middle, and Logan standing beside her. Everyone was smiling. She handed it to him. Put this on the dash? He took it and smiled, with pride. In the cabinet above them was a small velvet box. Inside it, the folded DNA result, the first drawing she ever gave him and the toy she thought she'd lost, but he'd kept all along, not as proof, but as memory. Logan looked at her and asked, Where to next? Rena grinned. Anywhere, then paused. As long as I can say my papa when I get there. Logan laughed. Then let's fly, kid. And so they did. A human man, an alien child, father and daughter. Together, under every sky that once tried to keep them apart.